Good morning, Father Thomas from St. Joseph again. Welcome to the garden. I just want to give a tour of everything that's been happening. Springtime has been very good. Now it's middle of summer. We still have blooming plants, clematis here on the right, this purple one, and then a very beautiful, almost blue, or that may be violet, this is purple. And they're just pretty things to have on your obelisks that I worked on earlier in the year. And then you can see how the garden is growing. So we're going to take a right, and I'll show you here we have some bee balm, and you can see the bees flying around. They're getting their nectar. I love the bees. I pet the bees. I like the bees. I used to keep bees at my old parish. These are bumblebees, solitary. Then we have a good crop of corn, and that's getting ready. You can see the tassels starting to come out. So the corn is getting ready. We have to keep the deer away. We've been having a problem with deer this year, so we'll try to keep them away. I've been sprinkling garlic around the perimeter of the garden now, and that seems to keep them away for the moment. The apples are growing. We have some apples here, some zinnias, flowers, they always mix in. This is a volunteer sunflower plant. We have a few of those, and I'll show you one that's blooming in a moment. And I just dug up a few potatoes, which you'll see in another video. So this is part of our potato crop, Yukon Golds, and they're very tasty. We have over here some Brussels sprouts. You saw when I planted those, they'll get about 3 feet tall, but you can see the Brussels on the bottom. They're starting to grow. You peel off the bottom leaves as they grow taller, so that the strength goes into the Brussels sprouts and they get to a nice size. And then over here we have our plot of red cabbage. You can see they're getting their heads now, so those are going well. Now we'll jar that. That'll be good. We've had some peppers already. Father Charles and I made some sausage and peppers. These are our sweet Cubanelle peppers. We have eggplants. We've picked some of those already. Here's another one that's getting ready. See that? And we have a bed of onions, red onions. There's this one poking through the ground, you can see a bit. And they've got a ways to go yet. And then we had a problem with the deer with the Swiss chard. So under here is Swiss chard. They ate them right down to the ground, so I had to cover them up. But you can see they're coming back now, so we're going to save some of that Swiss chard for ourselves. And then this is one sunflower that is blooming finally. You can take a look at that. It's about 10 feet tall, I think. You're 6 feet, right, Father Peter?
Yep.
And so take a look at that sunflower up there. Beautiful yellow blossom. The bees like that, and then the birds. I'll try to save the seeds before the birds get them. And we have our tomato plot. We have 3 kinds of tomatoes, so they're coming along nice. They should be getting red in a week or so. We've got some bigger ones down here. Those are pretty. We've got marigolds and nasturtium mixed in. We've got our herbs and our blueberries, so every morning we come out and pick some blueberries. It's getting down to the last of them. And I've got sage, mint, chives, oregano, rosemary, different things like that, and a little water fountain. This is a statue of Saint Fiacre that was given to me by some of our parishioners. Thank you very, very much. The patroness of farmers and gardeners. You can see he has a spade in his hand to dig the ground with. He has some flowers or crops that he's picked, and he's a patron saint of farmers and gardeners, so we place him here as an honored place, and we ask his protection upon our garden. Get those deer out of here. And then we'll come this way. Here's another bed of Swiss chard that we're keeping an eye on. And we have some basil growing here. Nice. Over here, some more. That's tasty as can be. Just mix that with some tomato salad.
It smells so good over here.
Yeah, it's great. And this is the asparagus. This is what happens to asparagus. You have to, you cut it when it's only, 6 to 8 inches as a spear, only in the month of May. Then you have to let it go into this fern so it gets the strength for next year's crop. You plant it, as I said, once in your garden, and it lasts, they say, 100 years. They say at Mount Vernon in Virginia, George Washington and Martha Washington's garden, there is some that were planted by Martha Washington. That would be great. 200 and some odd years old. We have grapes growing this year. They're going well. They've not gotten moldy as they have in the past, because I learned that grapes don't like water. They like water on the roots, but not on the leaves, not on the grapes. So I've been keeping the water away from that. So these maybe are white grapes, and of course we'll see what happens, and maybe we'll make some wine in the fall. We'll see. Over here we have our Christmas tree plot. Those grow about a foot every year, and they're so nice. You can see I'm 5'6", so this is a nice sized tree. But they're so beautiful now. I don't want to chop them down. So we might just decorate them with lights at Christmas time and leave them in the ground. Here we have something called kohlrabi. This is a purple kohlrabi, and this is a white one. This is very popular in Eastern Europe in their cooking. It's packed with vitamins. It's very delicious. It's like a cross between a cabbage and a potato. You can slice it on a mandolin and just dip it in a little horseradish or mustard, and it's delicious. Or you can make other dishes with it as well. We have cucumbers in this plot that are growing. You can see they're just starting. I planted them a little late. Here are some more tomatoes. These are chocolate pear tomatoes. They're a little pear-shaped tomato about so big, and they're brown with a little bit of red stripe, and they're really sweet, and they say like chocolate. I have to agree. You pop them in your mouth like candy. We have some flowers growing here. So this is gladiolas, this bed, and the deer like them, so I got to be careful with that. This is foxglove and all kinds of other things. They're done blooming now, but the seeds are coming for next year. We have a little bird in this birdhouse. He was poking out before. I think he's ready to fly. He's been out here, and his mom and dad have been hanging around, so they've been in there for a few weeks, and I think they're ready to go fledgling. So we'll let them have their flying lessons. And oh, I forgot. I wanted to show you in another spot on the other side. I planted some pumpkins just a couple of weeks ago. These very little plants. I'm protecting them from the deer as well, but they'll take over this area, and we'll get some pumpkins in the fall. Planted some rhubarb. I've already made one picking of those. We'll make some more. And the ladies in the parish, I give that to them, and they like to make jams and things. That's great. But this is what I wanted to show you. You had a special guest in the garden. A lot of people, they don't like them too much because they make damage to their decks and whatnot, but it's a carpenter bee. They drill a perfect hole in wood, and he did on this one. He's not in there right now, but you can show them the hole, the perfect hole that the carpenter bee can make. It's amazing how God has made all these little creatures, and they have all their specific purpose and place in the garden, in the world, and it's amazing what they can do. So that's the garden. We thank God for the bounty that He gives to us. We do so little, and He does so much. So we have to say thank God for the produce that He gives to us and the life that He gives to us. And we always want to build up life. We don't want to tear it down. And right now in this world, things are going a little crazy. We have to calm down a little bit and pray for the Holy Spirit to descend upon us so that everybody can work together to find peace and hope and holiness. We have to find God again in our society. So God bless you today. Enjoy your garden if you have one, and we'll see you next time.